Drag Me to Hell. And yes, most of you are probably thinking, what? How can that movie be on anybody's list? Well, check out the freaking background poster. Check it. It's Evil Dead. Because the movie is directed by the same person who directed Evil Dead, Sam Raimi. Wonderful, wonderful horror movie director. And this movie, I think, is brilliant. I mean, Sam Raimi brings the 80s horror movie genre back in this film, and it's just classic horror, and it's so frightening during the movie, and it's so scary, and the old gypsy lady is so frightening and disgusting, and I love it. Number 9. Sherlock Holmes. If you know me, you know I'm a humongous Robert Downey Jr. fan. I mean, he's brilliant. I've seen about all of his films, if not all of his films, and everything he's in is just great. Not to mention his dead-on British accent. I love the nastiness of England. I love the dark colors and the browns and blacks and how actually dark this film, and it was pretty violent too. Like when the man catches on fire and he just burns and he like falls off the building. That kind of surprised me. I didn't expect to see something like that. Not to mention the love between dear Sherlock and Watson. Fangirls got their thing on the big screen. It was so slashy, and you could tell that they loved each other, and Sherlock got so jealous over Watson's fiancée, and it was just so adorable and implied all the time, and it was a great movie. Number 8. You can already hear the complaints when I mention my number 8 on this list. It's a film that many people didn't like, but I loved every minute of it, okay? And that's why it's on my list. Watchmen. Loved it. Not to mention Rorschach. Rorschach was a badass, okay? If you didn't like the movie, you could at least like Rorschach, because he could kick your ass, and he was awesome. Number 7. Bruno. Which I know, it's like, it was so vulgar, and it was so out there that most people just were shocked by it. But, I mean, obviously you hadn't seen the show, the LAG show, which his character Bruno is on. Which his character Bruno looks different and is a little different than he is in the movie, but I actually prefer Bruno in the movie than on the show. And I actually prefer Bruno to Borat. I think it was way funnier than Borat. The Borat was brilliant as well. I thought Bruno was more funny. And I just loved it. And I love the satiricalness of it. And it was not anti-homophobic. It actually showed how stupid rednecks and homophobes were. So I think it really had a powerful message to it. Number 6. Precious. Just talking about this movie makes me want to cry. It's so messed up. Okay, the main character, who is 16 years old, got molested by her dad and her mom, and has 2 children by her dad. Number 5. District 9. Not only did the aliens look very, very realistic, but the aliens actually made you have emotions with them, made you want them not to die, made you feel as if they were the good guys, you know? Also, the political tone of the movie was very important, because actually there was a place like this in South Africa where they would keep the black people, the Africans, in the slums. And they kept this in this place that was very much like the place in District 9, and that's just so messed up. And the action in this film was great. The special effects were amazing. Number 4. Star Trek. First off, I'm a Trekkie. Yes, I love the original series. In the movie, even though Spock's mom dies in the movie, and it's very different than on the show, different stuff is happening, the plot's very different than in any of the movies. It made it more original, and it actually made it better than if it actually stuck to exactly how the original movies were and how the original characters exactly were. I loved it, being a Star Trek fan. It's just the acting was amazing. McCoy was amazing. McCoy is my favorite in the movie. It was just, it really did make, I think, true Star Trek, the original series fans happy. 3. The Hangover. It was raunchy, it was silly, and it was out of control. And I loved every second of it. It's so quotable. It's the movie that I've laughed the most in a long time. And you know, it's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. And I can see why. I watch that film over and over again just to show my friends how funny it is and to see their reaction and to see them laugh, because if that film doesn't make you laugh, then no film will. 2. Pirate Radio. It was a British film. The British actors were all great. The storyline was great. The music, I mean, it takes place in the 60s. It had some, the soundtrack is awesome. And the costumes, everything was so 60s, and it was done so well. And I love the attitude of the movie. The attitude of the movie was that music makes you laugh, music makes you cry. Music just isn't noise pollution. Music actually goes with people's... Music makes people emotional, and that's what music should do. Music shouldn't be just a bunch of junk. Music should mean something. Why? Inglourious Basterds. This film, to me, was just flippin' perfect. The acting was beautiful. Christoph Waltz was psychotic, and it was so subtly psychotically done until he starts choking that woman. And he should win an award for that, an Oscar for that. The music was beautiful. The fact that all the actors for different cultures was amazing. They had Austrian people in it, German people in it, Jews in it, Americans in it, African Americans in it, French people. It was just so... It was so different, and the subtitles were so brilliant. Because the subtitles would have it in English, and then if someone said "we," it would say on the subtitles "we," because you know what "we" means. It means yes. You know, it doesn't need to say yes. It says "we" instead. And I thought that was brilliant. And I swear, I think it should win Best Picture. I think it's one of the best films of the decade. It's a brilliant film. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. And who doesn't want to see Nazis being killed by Jews? It's so funny, it's so brilliant, it's so violent, it's everything good. See it! Number 1, Inglourious Basterds.